The success of our society proves that our system works, but maybe we forgot to teach our young folks that wealth is achieved by helping people to get what they want. So, if no one has yet taught you how the game is played in the big leagues, well, guess what? Now, it's your turn. Here's our rallying cry. There's a billionaire locked inside you. The key to freedom is information. The kind of information you find here on the MoneyMan Report. Now, here's today's host. Here's the MoneyMan. Here's Dan Frischberg.
Well, welcome back. This is the MoneyMan Report. Thanks very much for joining us. And yesterday, the beautiful Alicia was just beginning to tell a story, but we ran out of time. And do you remember what it was?
It's about the buttonwood tree.
Okay, so tell me about the buttonwood
tree. Let's start fresh from the beginning, the buttonwood tree. Yes. See, the stock market, everybody is saying, the stock market, I can hear there's a stock being traded on radio or on TV. I'm going to go in, what's $10? What's $20? So they go in and buy that stock, not knowing anything, and they lost money. And they will say, that's the end of it. I will never use the stock market
again. What's even worse is if they make money, and then they think that they're magic, and then they start to do that, and they use more and more, and then eventually almost everybody gets wiped out.
Yeah.
Because they think the game is guessing what everybody's going to do rather than buying a company. That's because it's abstract, right? That's what you started to talk about.
Yeah. Everything is abstract. You can't feel it. It doesn't. If it drops on your foot and it hurts, that's not it. So obviously it's just a paper, a bunch of paper that I might try. It's like you go to casino. Hey, I could allocate $500. That's what everybody said. $500 is not gonna hurt me. And then they go in and yes, they win because not all the time you lose money. First you win, and there you go. And what's gonna happen? So it's magic now. My 500 becomes 1,000. Or you go to horse racing and you hit exacta. What a magic thing! And then you get hooked. Then what happened? It's because you have no idea what you're doing.
That's right. You were gambling.
Yeah, but folks, long time ago, 100 years ago, as you know. Maybe if you go back, it all started 1400. They decided, these merchants, they pull their money together and they send the money to where they have investment overseas, cross overseas.
They all got together and they bought boats and they sent Columbus to see if he thought he was going to India, of course, but he was going to find out how to get tea and all this stuff and sell it.
For a profit. It's not basically, hopefully, for a profit. And also, some businesses who needed some money, what they do is they go to a wealthy merchant, and a wealthy merchant lends them money for a very, very high interest rate. And at the same time, that wealthy merchant turns around and sell that note to other merchants, other people who will buy that note or bonds.
In other words, he's got great credit.
Yes.
So he goes out and he gets people that respect him.
Yes.
And he sells them pieces of that loan.
That's right.
And that he pays them nothing, the 5%, 10%, whatever. But he now has his money back, but he's got a big pile of debt coming from that businessman that he lent money to. He lent the money to the businessman at a high interest rate, and then he just went and used his credit to get the money back from all the people around him. Now he's got his money back. He doesn't have any money stuck. And what's happening?
And he turns around.
Those people that bought from him are making a little bit of money, but he's making a fortune because that businessman that he lent the money to is paying him very high interest.
So folks, these papers are real papers. It's not just paper, and hopefully,
Well,
you can gamble and all of that.
the thing that so I was teaching this to somebody who was very smart, and she said, "Yeah, but what about?" To be perfectly fair, there's all kinds of things going on in that company you don't know about. And what if things are bad going on there? Or what if... Here's the thing. If I was trying to do this in China, they lie to each other. Or in South America, they lie to each other. And so if I wanted to invest in somebody's business, I have to eat lunch with them for 2 years and figure out if I can trust them or not. Because they cheat each other. In America, the brilliance of our system is that we have regulations and they get audited and they're on an exchange and they have rules. And if they do get caught, if they lie, they end up going to jail. Like the girl, Elizabeth, the girl that just went to jail.
Oh, for the medical.
That's right. Who right?
Who faked all those results.
That's right. Exactly. That they can't get away with doing that. And by the way, there's a rule that says that if there is something material, this is what she didn't do. She didn't owe you anything. She didn't know you. But if there is something that changed about that deal, and anybody knows about it, she's required very quickly, within a day or so, to go have a big press release and make sure that everybody in the world knows about this, because it's a public company. There are no secrets like that.
In the Buttonwood that they transact business, it's always been the creative way, ingenuity of the business owners, and the ability to use your brain.
But when they did the deal in the Buttonwood tree, some people were getting screwed.
That's right,
because
there's
they had no way to
bad
verify
company,
it.
good companies.
So the innovation was, let's take it even a step further. Let's regulate it. So that we've got people in authority who are making sure that everything you're hearing is true. And we're auditing it, and we're making them get an audit all the time. And we're looking at this, and we're making rules that say that if something goes wrong, they have to tell it to the whole public that's investing, and if they don't do it, it's a crime. And they're going to go to jail like that girl, Elizabeth.
So the stock market has its own beautiful system, and it's been perfected for all these years, way back 1400 to the present.
Now, the thing is that, and I'm going to tell you this 100 times because everybody can't get this through their brain. They tell you there's a bunch of lies that are being told to you by the broker community, by the big brokers that you rely on, by your financial planner, by all these different people that are trying to keep you dumb. And what they're telling you is these lies. For example, you have to be totally diversified because you can't beat the index and you can't beat the market and you can't really know what you're doing. So instead of you having the brains to have a strategy, picking out a company to actually invest in, you've got to go and just have an index which has a little bit of everything because you're too dumb to have a strategy. Right? And they're telling you this. Now, why do you think is that what they're doing with their money? Think about this. They're in the top of the Empire State Building. They've got these MBAs who are there with a bank of computers doing research to find companies that they can actually help finance and get a piece of them and own a big piece of that company. When the company becomes valuable, they make a fortune. Why aren't they telling you to do what they do? First of all, because the guy that they send to work with you, that they call your financial planner or advisor or something, They don't care what he thinks. He doesn't know anything. He's not investing their money. They're sending him out there, and they're telling him some simple thing to tell everybody. Yeah, go and buy an index fund, which everybody knows. But the bottom line is, when they find out, let's say I have a business and I just invented a way to cure something, right? A way to get rid of pimples, or a way to cure the common cold. And I've done it, and it's starting to work. And I bring it to Goldman Sachs, and they test it, and they say, oh my God, I think they've got something here. What do? They help me raise money of other people. They raise enough for me to make it public and make it big so that I can start producing a lot of it. And what do? They, in return for doing that, they get options on it. Mm-hmm. They get long-term options that are going to allow them to buy into that company. And let's say the stock, right now they took it public and the stock's at 10. And they've helped me raise all that money at 10. And they're saying, you know what? What we'll do is we'll raise all that money for you. We want the right to buy 20% of that company at 15, higher than the money we're raising. You say, well, I got nothing to lose. You're right. You have nothing to lose. Mm-hmm. But now that I have the right to buy 1/3 of that company,
you have a lot to
at
lose.
15, no, well, not really. It's good. It's win-win. You get rich and we get rich. Now what they're doing is they've got the right now, a couple of years later, when that company's not $15 a share anymore. Now it's $50 a share.
They're getting ready.
And now they have the right to buy a whole bunch of that company at $15 a share.
Ouch.
That's right. And because they helped you do it, they're getting thousands of shares at $15 a share that are really worth $50. They can immediately go and sell all of that for $50. So what are they going to make? 3 times the money that they were supposed to have, or 4 times, but even more because they didn't put money in it. They helped you by raising other people's money.
But they're not sharing that to the average
No,
people.
because there's not enough of it to go around. Mm-hmm. If they told you about it, they don't have more of these options to give you.
So they send the trained individual.
Some insurance man or something to go out there and get you to buy that index fund. Why? Because there's millions of shares of it. There's enough of it to go around. And that's his speed. That's what he knows. And what he's going to do is he's going to tell you, well, the main thing is you're going to make 10% on this, and you're going to put away a little money. When you're 80, you'll have a little bit of extra money. Mm-hmm. But I'm also going to help you figure out your taxes, and I'm going to help you make sure that you buy insurance so in case something happens to you. And I'm going to do all these little things that don't really take any brains. And I'm going to make money by doing all this stuff. And one of the things I'm going to help you do is put away a little bit of money into that index fund. And you're going to make 6% a year, 7% a year. And when you're 80, you may have enough money to join a golf club.
So Charles Schwab or Goldman Sachs or all of these places train this guy. Train them. They have paid him. They have access to him. So do they ask him for his opinion about their money?
No, they have no. They couldn't care less what he thinks. His job is to sit in a cubicle and call up strangers all day, and then when they find that stranger, try to get them to where they want to talk about how to organize, how to do the accounting, how to diversify, how to buy that index fund, how to do an IRA, how to get insurance in case something happens to you.
Not for them to give an opinion about how they handle their billions of money.
No, but I just want to tell you, since we're about to run out of money on this,
run out
of time on this podcast, let me tell you what we teach people how to do. This is what your School of Money has, and I have written this whole long 5-lesson course to teach. Here's what to do. This is how millionaires get rich, how billionaires get rich. Why aren't you getting rich? Because you believe those guys. But what's the difference between that and what billionaires do? Because I want to show you what they do. Back in around 2008 or 9, all the banks got in a lot of trouble. You understand that we had a booming economy, and our government wanted to let everybody get their own house, especially in the red line zones where they felt that brown people and black people and poor people were being discriminated against. And they pressured the banks and mortgage companies to grant mortgages to those people so they could get their own homes. The rationale was, well, but they don't really have the money that other people in other neighborhoods have. But they said, look, it's backed by real estate. How can you lose? There's always there's always a shortage of real estate, right? And so you got the mortgage, it's backed by real estate. If the guy can't make the payments, you end up with the real estate. So what do you have to lose? In the meantime, let's let all these people get their own home. And let's especially go lending in that red zone, in the part that's drawn out, the blackballed zone. Well, now, here we come. And there's starting to be a bunch of inflation, just like we have now. Mm-hmm. And the Fed, just like now, is under pressure because people are worried about the prices are going up, right? Mm-hmm. The prices of houses are going, not as much as now. Prices of houses are going up, prices of food are going up, and they're upset. They don't like it. Mm-hmm. It's the Fed's job to not let the dollar be worth less and not let the price of everything I want to buy go up, correct? Mm-hmm. They're not allowed to do that. They got to stop it. So the Fed starts to jack up the interest rates. Now the economy starts to slow, and a lot of the lowest workers are starting to get laid off. And a lot of them are the ones that got those mortgages. Now, while they were doing this and everybody was living well, Fannie Mae and Ginnie Mae and Freddie Mac, these are government-created corporations, quasi-government corporations. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they wanted to make sure that there was always enough money for all these mortgages. So what they did was they would buy up the mortgage from the bank or the mortgage company, mm-hmm. buy it. That way the mortgage company's got the money again, so the mortgage company's not lending its own money now. It's just an originator.
It's like the wealthy people 1400 long time ago.
It's originating the mortgage, and then it sells it to Fannie Mae and gets the money back. Exactly. Now, the thing is that they're issuing these bonds, and the bonds are guaranteed by Fannie Mae and Ginnie Mae and Freddie Mac, and so they're getting AAA ratings. Now, Bank of America, Goldman, it was another one of those banks, the one that was getting into all the trouble. You know,
Wells Fargo?
Wells Fargo, yeah. Okay, so those banks see their chance to make a bunch of money, all right? So what they're doing is those mortgage bonds at that time were paying like 7-8%. Mm-hmm. So the bank can borrow money from the Fed at like 1% or 2%. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they go and borrow the money, all that billions of dollars from the Fed. 1%. And by the way, their savings accounts, which they pay nothing, right? And they take all that money, borrow the money from people and from the Fed, and go and buy those mortgage bonds that are paying 8-9%, that are supposed to be AAA credits because they're backed by real estate, by the real estate.
Mac.
But all of a sudden now, those people who got those mortgages are starting to get laid off, and people are starting to worry, what if they default on their mortgage? Well, long before they ever defaulted on the mortgage, the price of that bond, that used to be $1,000 bond, it starts to be considered more risky because it's backed by real estate. But what if these people all foreclose at the same time and the real estate price goes down, right? And the real estate prices are going down because the Fed's jacking up interest rates. There's less demand. Prices of real estate are going down. That mortgage bond that cost that bank $1,000 is now going down. Now it's $900. Now it's $850. Yeah, right. Now, remember that bank borrowed hundreds of billions of dollars in order to buy those mortgage bonds.
From the savings and the Fed.
That's right. Borrowed, thinking that there's no risk, and now suddenly they borrowed 98 cents on the dollar, which means they got $3 of their own money, $97 of borrowed money in each one of those bonds. When that bond lost 20% of its value, that bank is way underwater. They lent their net worth times 5 in those bonds that they borrowed, and so now they're way underwater, and of course they had to be bailed out, and that's what happened. Lehman Brothers went broke, and that's what happened. The Fed ended up at the Congress begging for money to bail out Bank of America and Wells Fargo and all those companies, and they
Citigroup.
Citigroup, and they did get bailed out. I'm going to stop for a very quick break, and then I'm going to come and tell you the punchline of this story. So do not leave. This is a little bit of a commercial. It's telling you how to improve your life and how to get more information about the stuff we're talking about.
You've heard it said right here, with enough leverage, you can multiply your investing strength and move mountains. So think about it. How'd you like to own companies like Roku or MasterCard or Raytheon and put down as little as 5 or 10% to unlock the treasure chest of unlimited upside gains? You can, all the while drastically reducing your risk, and you can do it with zero borrowing costs. You just need that leverage and a little know-how. So Dan Frischberg is going to allow you to pick his brain to better understand the concept of leverage. These are special online training sessions called the Pick Dan's Brain Option Service. You can use just a little bit of money to potentially make incredible returns. If you want to make real money, you owe it to yourself to take advantage of this once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. All you have to do to try it is to go online and register so you can see the results for yourself. The cost is next to nothing, and look what's waiting for you. Each week, Dan will discuss a few detailed trades, quality, actionable trades. You get detailed instructions on buying and selling specific put and call options. The Pick Dan's Brain Option Service shares specific underlying stocks, expiration dates, strike prices, and shows you how much money you could make instantly. It's Dan Frischberg's time-tested, proven money-making discipline that he's used for 50 years to make himself and a lot of other people rich. Lots of other benefits are waiting for you, too, if you just register at themoneyman.com. That's all one word, themoneyman.com, for the Pick Dan's Brain Option Service. This is about teaching you the knowledge and skills. It's your responsibility to apply these skills and knowledge to your specific situation. It's too much to detail here, but all the info is right there at themoneyman.com.
You're tuned in to the MoneyMan Report with your host, TV and radio money man, Dan Frischberg. For more information about everything we're talking about, go to themoneyman.com right now. That's themoneyman.com.
Welcome back. All right, you're listening to the Money Man Report. I'm Dan Frischberg. She is the beautiful Alicia, who invented the Money Man Report, 35, 40 years ago?
That's right.
That's right. And by the way, how does a guy like me have a beautiful young chick like this wanting to go out with him? She's been my wife for 36 years, and every day I'm trying to think of more ways to make her happy, so she's happy to stick around. All right, so I promised I would tell you about why do people get nowhere? How do these billionaires really get rich? So I told you about Citigroup. Now, Citigroup got bailed out by the Congress, but nobody wants to buy the stock. The stock is worth $3. Mm-hmm. It's got no credibility. It's got nothing. Warren Buffett calls up Citigroup and says, now that I see that you're bailed out, I'll buy some preferred stock. It's like a bond. And I want you to pay me 5-6%, and I'm going to give you enough money to, first of all, you'll have money to operate on. And secondly, it's going to make people think that you must be reliable if I'm buying in, right? So I'm going to buy these preferred stock. It's going to pay me 5.5-6%. I'm going to lend you a bunch of money. But in addition to that, I need you to give me the right. He called it a warrant. What's a warrant? It's a long-term option. It's a warrant that says that for the next 10 years, your stock is at $3.40 or something right now. I'm going to give you a break. I've got a warrant that allows me to buy the stock for $7. $7. And you know what happened? When everybody heard that Warren Buffett was investing in Citigroup, all of a sudden everybody wants to invest in Citigroup. And they were bailed out by the government. They're not going anywhere, right? So now they've got a profitable operation. The government's raising interest rates, which helps Citigroup because Citigroup can lend money using the long interest rate. They borrow the money using the short interest rate, like your savings account. So they're making more and more money. And now that everybody knows that Warren Buffett lent them a bunch of money, now they're stable. Warren Buffett knows he's got the money to keep them afloat, doesn't matter. But they're not only paying him that 5.5%, but they just gave him warrants that said he could buy the stock at $7. Well, within a couple of months after everybody heard about that Warren Buffett's buying in, the stock's already above $7. So it's already worth money to him. But P.S., the stock is now at like $49 or $50. And Warren Buffett has the right to buy that stock at $7. So you understand that what he did was he took the little bit of money that he lent them and he turned what was the right to buy a $3 company for $7, but now it's $50. And he made hundreds of billions of dollars on Citigroup stock. Hundreds of billions of dollars. That's how they make money. They use leverage. You understand all the leverage he got? He lent them a little bit of money, but it gave him the right to buy those long-term options at $7. When the stock was at 10, he was already in the money. Now it's at 20, now it's at 30, now here we are, it's at 50. Yeah, $49. And he's got the right to buy tons of that stock for $7, excuse me. So he's making $43 per share on thousands of shares because
use his brain.
That's right, because he used his brain to get those long-term options. And this is what we're teaching people how to do right now. What's happening is you get to pick out a company that you know is going to be worth a lot more money, and then you get to buy those long-term. Now, I'm using the word options. When you hear options, you say, oh my God, options are risky.
Eyes glaze over.
There's different kinds of options. They're all regulated by the same exchange, but most people, almost all of them, are buying options that are 1 month options, 2 month options, 3 month options. It's a gambling device. They do get leverage, but they're guessing what's going to happen with that stock in the next 3 months. They don't know. And they all eventually, some of them make money, some of them lose money, but it's just like a slot machine. Maybe they make money, maybe they lose money. But that stock, let's say we're using MasterCard, or in this case, we're using Google. Right? Now, Google stock is coming down now, even though Google's going to make 20% more profit every year for the next forever. It's the strongest company in the world. Advertising, actually, they're the biggest advertising medium on the planet. But of course, during COVID, when there was a lockdown, some people stopped advertising, and the revenues produced by Google were a little bit flat. But now that the world is coming back and opening up, everybody wants to place first on Google. Everybody wants to advertise using, it's not called Google anymore, it's called Alphabet. But the bottom line is they're making a fortune. Their profits are going to grow 15-20% a year. And I can actually buy those long-term, multi-year options on Alphabet for like 3 cents on the dollar, doing exactly what
Warren Buffett did.
And I don't doubt that he's doing the exact same thing I'm doing now.
And there's a lot of business owners did the same
sure.
exact
Now,
thing.
the more Google stock, Alphabet stock comes down, the more of those cheap little options for a few cents on the dollar I'm going to buy. There's a video.
Yes, there's a video.
There's a video on our YouTube channel that's showing you all about the company Alphabet. How much money are they going to make? Everything you need to know if that company is a great long-term investment. And if you want to know how to use these leverage techniques that billionaires are using every day, but most people never even heard of, you can just go to themoneyman.com and find out. And you'll find there's probably, I think we're planning a free workshop on golden rule investing, which is the beginning of how to do exactly the stuff I'm showing you. We call it golden rule investing because we only use it with companies that are making people's lives better. We're really careful to make sure that it's a company that's spreading Americanism all around the world and making people's lives better. We're following the golden rule and we're being rewarded for it.
And folks, remember, he always says, this is about the company. It's always about the company.
We're going to put up right now a special video on our YouTube channel. It's Daniel Frischberg, right?
That's right.
Daniel Frischberg YouTube channel. And it's going to show you how companies that go up and down, up and down, up and down, and scare people and everybody ends up dropping them. And a few years later, they made you way more money than you ever dreamed of. And it didn't matter. Those fluctuations were just a bunch of idiots following each other, a bunch of lemmings, with all due respect to the people. I don't say they're bad people. I say they're following. They're looking for something for nothing. Because instead of the golden rule where they're investing in something that's making people's lives better, that they know 100% over the next few years it's going to be worth more and more and more, because it makes more and more and more money for its owners. Instead, they're just trying to gamble and get something for nothing.
You mentioned about Google, the company, or the Alphabet. It's just the perfect timing. We have a confused Fed who's going to repeat the same situation that we talked about.
Same thing they did in 2018.
That's right.
And watch what happened to the stocks in 2018 as the Fed started raising the interest rates, pulling money out of their quantitative easing, everything they're talking about now. The stocks came down. We got a chance to buy in. And we use tremendous leverage. That's what you're going to learn how to do. Go to themoneyman.com right now. Sign up and take that free Golden Rule Investing Workshop. It's free. And there's no catch. Free.
That's it for now, folks. See you on the other side.
This has been Now It's Your Turn with the Money Man, Dan Frischberg. If today's program piqued your interest, there's a video link and QR code on this page for a free workshop that'll teach you a lot more. Or you can find it on Dan's website. Just look for themoneyman.com/golden rule investing. That's themoneyman.com/golden rule investing. Now, if you're only hearing the audio, everybody agrees it's much more exciting and easier to follow on video. There's nothing to it. Just go to YouTube and type in the Money Man Report. You'll see that QR code and the link right there for that free workshop. And by the way, if you subscribe, you'll be personally notified every time we produce a new video. So we'll see you next time. If you missed anything, all this info resides in one place where Dan Frischberg lives. The address is themoneyman.com. It's all one word, themoneyman.com.